Here's a small diagram of the hierarchy of the play and all the people and who they reported to, like the groups. Because I was on props to prepare to do our work backstage, we needed to make lists of all the props that we had, the props that we needed, the props that we had to make and fix. And so once we made the list, we had to actually do those things. We had to print out lists and put them backstage on stage right and left of which props were supposed to be there at what time and which were supposed to be preset. I learned a lot about how to organize because even though I've had like a lot of work in the past, this was kind of, I don't know, it was a bit different because you had to, well, mostly because of like the sort of bursts of work that there would be, because it would be like, okay, so you have to do everything for Act 1, and then there would be nothing to do until you could start working on Act 2, and there would just be like certain periods of time where you couldn't do anything, and then periods of time where you had to work like a lot, really hard. Also working with other people. I've never really been that good at working with other people, but I feel like during the play I got I got better at being patient, and especially because other people working on props with me were like really good. Like they were also patient and they actually did their work, which made it a lot easier for me. I contributed in rehearsals by setting up the props, making sure they were in the right place. When actors didn't know where props were or needed help, I was generally there, or somebody else from the props team. There was a lot of work backstage, like setting up the props. Then generally, once you have everything preset and what you need backstage, there's not really much to do. So you kind of just have to sit there, especially if you're not doing any set changes or anything. So a lot of the time I was just not doing anything, waiting just in case an actor had a problem. And then as soon as there was like a break, I would be running around trying to finish all the work backstage before the next scene or act. Yes. So when it came together with the band and the actors, it was different. The rehearsal definitely was like how I described it earlier, and then during the show it was kind of the same thing, like running around and presetting props, making sure they were all where they were supposed to be, so the actors would know where they were. I think overall, in my I think I had a good contribution, at least on the first night when I wasn't sick. I managed to like get everything done that I needed to do in the short periods of time that I had when nobody was on stage, and like help actors out when when they needed something, like if they didn't know where something was, or if they like yeah like making props and stuff in the beginning. Clearly the props were really important to the show. The show wouldn't have really gone on without them. It wouldn't have looked realistic, in terms of when, like, for example, the guns were shot, whether they were like toy guns or if it was the more real looking gun that we used at the end. Yeah, so it makes it look a lot more real and believable to the audience. And props can really get the audience more involved in what's happening on stage. Before I started working on the play, I really had no idea how much work it would entail, especially because props doesn't seem like such a big thing at first. But this play really had a lot of props, and it was a lot of work to get them organized, to get them in the first place. Before I started working on the play, I don't know, I wish I'd worked on a play before so that I'd known like just like more what I had to do, because I was kind of just figuring it out as I went. If I were to do things differently, I would have printed out a list of props that were meant to go both stage right, stage left, and preset much earlier than we did before. And that's probably about it. I'm most proud of the fact that the play just actually went on really well. The props were all set up where they were supposed to be. The actors knew everything. I'm just really proud of how it turned out in general, which is not necessarily just like the props, but like everybody else backstage was really great, and the actors, I'm really proud of how the actors did. It was just a really great show, and I'm really just happy that I was a part of it. And yeah, it was really great. My biggest regret was, I don't know, being sick during the last two shows and missing them. Other than that, I think it all went off pretty smoothly, and even when there were kind of hiccups or bumps along the road, everybody handled it really well. So there's not really many regrets. I don't think there's anything that would have helped me do my job better. I really did it to the best of my abilities at that time, and it all went well in the end. So